What's up, creatives, and welcome to another Romeo show. Coming up, the videos that I uploaded last week, the new page that's on my website, and from last week's show when I demonstrated the pencil grades, we're going to be drawing a realistic hair plait. It is a bit of an advanced video, but I believe that you guys can do it. So without further ado, let's roll intro. Hey everyone, how's everyone doing? Hope everyone's all good. Had a good weekend and a good week. I had a very good week last week, so I started a new commission piece I did. I carried on with that one. I started a couple of weeks ago, but I'm carrying on with that one. That one's coming along really, really well. Can't show anything at the moment. If anything, I may be able to show you a quick little glimpse next week. But I don't want to show anything because the person that I'm drawing it for, they also watch this video as well. So I don't want to be giving anything away just yet. So I'll speak to them and see if it's all right to show the video. And let's see if she can close her eyes at that point when the video comes up with her picture. I did so the picture is coming along really well. It is. I also last week added a new page to my website. So now there is a testimonial so now there's a testimonial page on my website. So if you click onto that, you can read what the clients have to say about the pictures that they received from me, which is an absolutely brilliant one to have put on. There is also now a pet portraits page on there too. So you can click onto that and you can have a quick look at the services that I provide, the prices that I charge on the sizes of pages, and some pictures of the stages of the drawings that I create for my clients as well. So have a little look on that. It's up on my website, which is www.romeosketches.co.uk. Have a little look, see what you think of the new testimonial page up on my website now. So yes, last week also I uploaded my Zentangle video up on Wednesday. It's now the new mandala patterns that I'm drawing, which are I'm absolutely loving drawing these patterns. They're so cool pictures to draw. They absolutely look great. They do as well when you've drawn them. And using those fine pens that I use is an absolute must to use those. I mean, you can use regular pens as well, but if you really want to get into like the smaller details, the different size nibs on the packs of these pens that you get, if you want to ever check them out, the link is in the description just down below. It is. Check those pens out. They're like you can use any other pen as well, but if you want to create some patterns like the ones that I do on my videos, they are the best ones to use. If you didn't see the video, here's a quick little clip. If you want to check out the full version of that video, just click that link. That's just at the top there. On Friday as well, I uploaded my ASMR video that came out on Friday last week. That was the last in the Lord of the Rings map tracing video. If you didn't have a look at that video, here's a quick little clip. And if you want to see the full version of that video, just click that link. That's just at the top there. There is going to be another ASMR video in the next couple of weeks. This one is going to be a Game of Thrones map tracing video. So keep your ears open for that one. I'll be uploading that one in a couple of weeks. That'll be on a Friday, a couple of weeks Friday at 8 PM. Just going back to the mandala patterns that I'm drawing on a Wednesday now, what I've also started to do, I've started to do this little sheet, a little reference sheet as well. And basically what I'm doing is all the patterns that I create on these patterns, I'm jotting them all down and writing them down on these and drawing them onto these pages here like this. And I carry on doing things like that. It's always good to have like a little reference page like this, just so it's a little bit more easier for you for when you're doing your patterns. It saves you some sort of rattling brain. You can refer back to it later on when you're creating another pattern, or you can mix those patterns in with other ones as well. So it's another good little idea as well. It's another good little thing that I'm doing, just so that I'm a little bit more prepared with my mandala patterns as well. There's plenty of patterns to choose from on the internet. You can go on YouTube. There's patterns on there that you can look at on Google and on Pinterest, which is an absolute brilliant one too. If you want to get any sort of ideas or any sort of pattern ideas or anything like that, go over to that website there and check out the patterns on there. You'll find some really, really good patterns on Pinterest. So now let's get on with today's quick draw. Not so much of a quick draw. This one is going to take you guys a little bit of time to do. Watch the video. What I suggest is watch the video first, and then have a go at drawing the palette that we're going to be drawing. I'm going to be drawing this because of the pencil grade video that we did last week, showing you the different types of pencils to use. This would be a good idea. This would be a good exercise to draw using those different pencils. You'll see in the video the pencils that I'm going to be using, and there's going to be a variation of pencils that I will use. So it may look complicated, but once you've got the hang of it, watch the video a few times. If you haven't got the blending stump like I'll be using in there, a cotton bud or a piece of tissue would be just great to use as well. Have a look at the video first, and then have a go yourself at trying to draw that hair plait. I've decided to draw the hair plates because rather than drawing like a normal pyramid or a sphere or something like that, I mean, we're not in kids school now or anything like that, so I wanted to throw you guys in at the deep end and get you guys doing something. We've been doing all the easy patterns for the last couple of weeks now and everything, so let's throw you in at the deep end now and see what you guys can produce with this pattern. Well, it's not a pattern, with this exercise that we're going to do now of how to draw a hair plait. So let's get on with it. The pencils that I'll be using is a HB pencil, 2B pencil, and an 8B pencil. These are the 3 pencils that I'll be using. Also a mono eraser. These erasers are really good because they have such a small little nib on them as well. They're really good for detailed work, like drawing small highlights and things like that. So a mono eraser, if you haven't got one of these, you can use an ordinary eraser, but if you want to get the small fine details, something like one of these is a good one to use. A blending stump. If you haven't got a blending stump, you can just use a piece of tissue or a cotton bud and just a normal regular eraser as well. So these are the tools that I should be using, and let's get down to it. HB pencil is what I'm going to start off with. What I'm going to be drawing first is just the size of the plait that we're going to be drawing. So this is the size of plait. This is just the width of it. We'll be erasing this out when we've got our outline of the plait in. What we do is a center point now, just to separate the plait off. And then what we're going to do is in that center point, we are just going to do a zigzag through this center point here, and that's to represent the center of our plait. Just like that. And then using the sides here as our guide, just going to move this up a little bit more. Just going to bring this up. This is going to be one side of the plait now. I'm just going to curve this edge round, because we know the side of a plait is a little bit more curved. It is. Same here as well. Going to bring this one up. As you can see now, we're just building up the sides of our plait. So I'm going to bring this side up now as well. Just curving it over slightly. And as you can see, that was the side of the width of plait that we needed to create there. And we just got into the bottom one now. Now we can do the same thing on this side. Bring that side up. Curve it around a bit. Through there. Like that one. And then I'm just going to bring this one up here. Curve it around again. You can see now the plait is starting to form as we're coming down now. So I should curve that one over. This side up now as well. That side there. Curve it in a bit. And coming up to the last part of the plait now. I'm just going to just trail that off a little bit through there. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to erase out side bits. and the centre line. Now I probably do advise to watch this video first to see what I do with it, what techniques I do and how I do them first, before you try to attempt it, or attempt it while you're watching the video. Let's erase that one. And now what we're going to do is we're going to fill in the braids there. We're just going to fill those in with a HB pencil, just using the edge of our pencil wheel. So just going to start filling it in. You're using very light pressure. We use the edge of the pencil because we fill up a lot more space. When we're doing large areas. And what I'm doing here, I'm just concentrating a little bit more of the graphite on the edges, because that's where our darker points, the shadows, will be in those parts there. So just through those areas here, it's going to be a little bit more darker, and keeping it. Our light source is going to be in the centre of our palette. When you're drawing anything like drawing hair or anything like that, it is best to use a reference picture, so that you've got something to look at, and you can see where all the light is hitting it, where the darker areas are and where all the lighter areas are as well. So it's always good to use a reference picture when doing any sort of realistic portrait or drawing, rather than trying to draw it from memory. This is a basic technique for drawing a plait. This is for drawing hair. You've got the darker edges and the light source is going to be in the centre. It's a great little practice if you just want to practice it yourself as well. You just want to carry on practicing the techniques of it. Very good to practice it, rather than, yeah, you can draw trying to do the shades, the old pyramids and spheres and things like that. You can draw it like that as well, but drawing it something like this, it just throws you in at the deep end when you're wanting to draw photorealistically. So as you can see, I'm just filling up all of the plait now with as much graphite as possible. Making it a little bit more darker on those edges bit. And then what we're going to do then is, once we have filled up all of our areas with the pencil, we're going to blend it all in with our blending stump or tissue, if you haven't got a blending stump or tissue, or a cotton bud. And what way we're going to be doing this is by moving it in circular motions to spread the graphite out evenly. And we use these circular motions because it helps to spread the graphite a lot more easier, it does, but also as well you don't get any sort of streaky effects in there. We want to create a nice softer look to it. As you can see there, I didn't go so much with the graphite into the centre, I sort of left it out that little bit more lighter. So we're going to do this all the way down now. Using these blending, you can pick up these blending stumps from any of your art shops near you, hobby crafts or anything like that. Any art shops. I think a few stationery shops as well. Ryman's, they do them as well. If wanting to sketch and draw portraits or to photorealism, especially using graphite pencils, it is the best one to use. Using the blending stumps is best to use. It's because rather than using your fingers, people tend to used to use their fingers. Rather than using your fingers, what happens is you transfer the oils from your fingers to your page. And once you go over that with graphite and your fingerprint comes through, not only is it looking like something out of CSI, something with forensics, but it's hard to get away. You can't erase it out afterwards. It's permanently there. It is. There's no way of getting rid of it. So it's best to use a tissue or some form of paper tissue or something like that, just to blend in your graphite. Or even when you're working as well. I mean, sometimes you'll see that a lot of the times when I'm working as well, I'll have a piece of tissue or a piece of paper under my hand, just to stop the oils from my hand as well getting onto the page as well. Especially when you're doing larger areas, the last thing you want is a print of it on there. So it's always best to use that as well. Plus, some of your uploads get a bit smudged, but it doesn't smudge it as much as it would do if it was your palm on there. You can see how nicely this blends in when you're using a paper stump or something like that. It just helps distribute the graphite so much more evenly around your air, the space that you're doing. But also as well, it just fills in all those gaps as well. Depending on the paper that you're using, you may not need to, it may fill out depending, because a lot of paper have different, as they say, it has a different tooth in it as well, so sometimes it might be a little bit more grainy, like this one is here as well. A lot of the time when I'm doing my sketches on portraits, it's a lot more, I use a lot more smoother paper without any less grain in it. There we have it all blended in now. And then what we're going to move on to is still using the HB pencil. We're just going to start filling it in now with the hair strands now. So using the HB pencil, this is going to be our darker areas. So we're going to concentrate the darker parts there, and as we get to the center, it's going to be that little bit more lighter. You'll see it come alive a lot more when we start using the darker pencils. Okay, and we're going to be using very light strokes. And as you can see, I'm just trailing it off towards the center where the light source is, but I'm not making it stop directly. I'm letting it come off very nice and gently. I am. So this is what's going to create our hair look now. We're going to start building this up now. So that's why we start off with using the base of the colour of the HB pencil first, just so that you're not having to sit there and create loads and loads. I mean, don't get me wrong, I do that with some of my work as well, depending on the area that I'm drawing. But to draw something that you know is going to be an abundance of a solid colour anyway, it's best to start off with a quick going over of it all. So this is the HB pencil that we're using on the side here, just concentrating a little bit more dark on those edge bits here. A slight curve to the motion as well, because hair is not flat, it's quite bulbous it is, so we want to create that look to it. And then coming onto this side, we're coming in, but still coming in round as well and curved. And here we're coming up. As you can see there, we're still stopping in the centre. I mean, eventually what you'll do as you start building up the hair, you will start to do a few strokes that will go all the way through. But as we're starting off at the moment, we just want to concentrate on building up the medium colour of hair first. It is a long process to do. You know, you have got to have patience for it. I did say this is not going to be a quick draw one. This is quite probably not too much of a lengthy tutorial. Once we have done this, we're just going to go over those areas there with our blending stump, just to fill in any gaps. We're not going to do it too much, and also it just helps to soften up those lines of hair that we created too. We're then going to go back over those lines again with our 2B pencil. So now with the 2B pencil, when you are going to be drawing any types of hair or fine details, always use a sharp pencil when you're doing anything like that. It just gives it that little bit more of a crisper edge to your work. It does. Every now and then do a couple of I mean at the end you'll start putting in some random ones as well, just to give it that little bit more of a realistic look to it. But you can see now it's starting to come alive a little bit more now as we start to add the darker pieces of hair in. What I'm going to demonstrate first is just this top half of the plait, and then we'll speed the video up. That's why I thought I'd do a whole complete top half of it, and then you'll be able to see it all progress through in a speeded up video. And what you'll start to see now, as you start to build up with the darker pencil now as well, you'll start to see the contrast of the lighter hair in there and the darker hair. And then once you start adding the even darker pencil, the 8B pencil, you'll see an even bigger difference, you will. Using the blending stump just to blend it through. You see where I'm sort of concentrating on those edge bits there where I know it's going to be that little bit more darker. And using the blending stump really helps to blend out any darker lines, you know, that are not consistent or anything like that. And then using our mono eraser, add a few highlights in. This is going to take away a lot more of the graphite that we used, that we laid down, and also adds a few more highlighted hairs on there and gives it that lot more of a realistic feel to your drawing. That's why we sort of concentrated on keeping that a little bit more lighter in the center area there as well, because it just helps to erase out any graphite rather than when you're trying to erase it out on the darker areas. And by creating the lighter pieces is what makes the image now pop that little bit more now. And then it doesn't look too bad even with the 2B pencil laid on top, but we're just going to make it a little bit more darker now with the 8B pencil. And now you'll really start to see the image sort of come alive now. Especially now that we have the lighter highlights running through it too. So what I'll do now is I'm going to go through, speed the video up now for you. Doing exactly using the same, I won't change the techniques of what I did to create these two parts, using the same pencils. Darken those areas up. Edges through there as well, and then using blending stump, not going to go too. I'm not going to go too far up. I'm just going to keep it moderately to the edges there with the blending stump. I'm going to keep some of the detail in those hair strands. And then just going to go over a few lighter pieces with the HB pencil. At the end you can always just add a few little random pieces as well, just to give it that little bit more of a realistic look to it. And like I say, just add a few random stray hairs as well. So that's that top part of the plait done. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to carry on with the rest, speed the video up, and then we can see what the end result looks like in a couple of minutes. Let's do it. Okay, and there we have our finished plait now. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go through the edges of it, adding a few little wispy little bits of hair, a few strands of hair, a few flyaways, that sort of thing. Just around the edges of it, just soften it up a little bit more. So yeah, I'm just adding in some random wispy little bits just on the edges there, just so that it makes it look that little bit more realistic. You're always going to have a few little flyaway bits of hair, you are. And there we have it, guys. A sketch plat using just the 3 pencils, 2B, a HB, 2B and an 8B. Your mono eraser and your blending stump. I hope you enjoyed the video, guys, and by all means I want to see if you guys draw this little picture today, and I want to see your work as well. Good luck with it. Catch you guys later. So how was that lesson for you guys? Hope that wasn't too difficult for you. If you did find it a little bit difficult, just watch the video a couple of times, get used to the techniques that I'm using. You know, have a little practice run first on a bit of paper. You know, don't necessarily have to draw the plait straight away. You know, get used to using the different pencils and, you know, using the tissue or the cotton bud or anything like that to blend in with. Let me know how you guys got on. Also, all the time, I want to see what you guys do as well. So you can hit me up on any of the social media websites that I'm on, either on Instagram or on Facebook. I want to see the guys' pictures of what you guys can do as well. Good luck in drawing those. And if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, click the bell, and turn on notifications so you know when I upload a new video. Have an amazing week, everybody, and I'll see you next Tuesday. Peace out.